The Pixie and the Gardener's Wife. You know the Pixie, but do you know Madame, the gardener's wife? She was well read, knew verse by heart, and could even write them easily herself. Only the rhyming, the repeating together, as she put it, sometimes gave her a little trouble. She had the gift of writing well and the gift of gab. She could certainly have been a minister or at least a minister's wife. The earth is beautiful in its Sunday dress, she said, and she had put that too in composition, including riveting. She had written it into a ballad that was both beautiful and long. Her cousin, the seminarian, Mr. Kisrap, his name is really not relevant, was visiting the gardeners and heard her poem. He said that it really did him good. You have soul, madam, he told her. What nonsense, said the gardener. Don't go putting that idea into her head. A wife should be a decent body, and watch her kettles so the porridge doesn't get crusty. What get crusty? I remove with a wooden spoon, said Mother. And I take the crusty from you with a little kiss. One would you think that you only thought about cabbage and potatoes, but you love the flowers. And then she kissed him. Flowers are the soul, she said. Watch your kettle, he said, and went out into the garden. That was his kettle, and he took care of it. But the seminarian sat and talked to Madame. In his own way, he held almost a little sermon over her lovely words. The earth is beautiful. The earth is beautiful. We were told to subdue it and be its masters. One person does so by her spirit, another with his body. One person comes into the world as astonishment's exclamation mark, another like dust. So you really can't ask what he is doing here. One becomes a bishop, another just a poor seminarian. But it's all done wisely. The earth is beautiful and always in its Sunday best. That was a thought-provoking poem of yours, madam, full of feeling and geography. You have soul, Mr. Kisrop, said Mad. A deep soul, I assure you. One feels so much clarity after talking to you. And they continue talking just as nicely and well as before. But in the kitchen there was also someone talking, and there was the pixie, the little gray-clothed pixie with a red stocking cap. You know him? The pixie sat in the kitchen and was watching the kettle. He talked, but nobody heard him except the big black pussy, Grimsneaker, as he was called by Madame. The pixie was furious at her because he knew she didn't believe that he was real. Granted, she had never seen him, but with all her reading, she must have known that he exists and should therefore have given him a little attention. It never occurred to her to put out so much as a spoonful of porridge for him at Christmas. All his ancestors had gotten that, and from madams who didn't read at all, the porridge had been swimming in butter and cream. The cat got wet whiskers just hearing about it. She calls me a concept, said Pixie. It's beyond my conception that she can say that. She completely repudiates me. I overheard that, and now I've been listening again. She is sitting in the gossiping with that boy bathing seminarian. I'm with father. What's your kettle? She's not doing that. So now I'll make it boil over. And Pixie blew on the fire. It flamed out and burned. There, the kettle boiled over. Now, I'm going to pick holes in father's socks, said the Pixie. I'll unravel a big hole in the toe and heel, so there'll be something to darn. If she doesn't start spurting poetry then, darn poor lady, darn father's. The cat sneezed at that. He had a cold, even though he always wore a fur coat. I've opened the pantry door, said Pixie. There's some boiled cream there, as thick as flour porridge. If you don't want to lick it, I will. Since I will get the blame and the beating, I may as well lick the cream, said the cat. First eating, then beating, said the Pixie. But no, I'm going to the seminarian rooms to hang his suspenders on the mirror and put his socks in the water basin. He'll think the punch was too strong, and that his head swimming. Last night I sat on the wood pile of the doghouse. I really enjoyed teasing the watchdog. I let my legs hang over and dangle. The dog couldn't reach them, no matter how high he jumped. It made him mad. He barked and barked. My legs dangled and dangled. It was a riot, and woke the seminarian up. He peered out 3 times, but he didn't see me. Even though he was wearing glasses, he always wears them when he sleeps. Meow! When the mistress comes, said the cat. I can't hear so well. I'm sick today. You are like sick, said the Pixie. Lick away, lick the sickness away, but dry your whiskers so the cream doesn't stick to them. No, now I'll go eavesdrop. And the Pixie stood by the door, and the door was ajar. There was no one in the living room except Madame and the seminarian. They were talking about gifts of the Spirit, gifts that should be set above the pots and pans of every household, as the seminarian so beautifully put it. Mr. Kisura, said Madame, in this connection I will show you something that I have never shown another human soul. Least of all a man, my little poems, although some of them are quite long. I have called them poems of a Danish. I'm so very fond of old Danish words, and they should be kept and used, agreed the seminarian. The language must be cleansed of all German. I do that, said Madame. You never heard me say cleaner or better take. I see donuts and butter pastry. And she took a notebook out of a drawer. It had a light green cover with two inks poured on it. There's a great deal of seriousness in this book, he said. I have the strongest sense for tragedy. Here's the scene in the night, my sunset, and the when I married Clemenson. Of course, that's my husband. You can skip that one, but it's deeply felt and thought out. The best one is called The Housewife's Duties. They're all very sad. That's where my talent lies. Only one poem is humorous. There are some cheerful thoughts. It's possible to have those too, of course. Thoughts about you mustn't laugh at me. Thoughts about being a Brutus. This is only new to myself, my drawer, and now you too, Mr. Kisra. I love poetry. It comes out of me. It teases me, rules, and has me in its power. I have expressed it with the poem titled Little Pixie. I'm sure you know the old folk belief about the house pixie, who always have to trick around the pixie, around the house. I have imagined that I am the house and the poetry, the feelings in me, is the pixie, the spirit that controls me. I have sung about his power and greatness in Little Pixie. But you must have given me your hand and swear that you'll never breathe a word of this to my husband or anyone. Read it aloud, so I can tell if you understand my handwriting. And the seminarian read. The madam listened, and the little pixie listened. He was eavesdropping, you know, and had just come in time to hear the little pixie. Why, it's about me, he said. Why could she have read about me? Well, I'll pinch her. Pinch her eggs, pinch her chicken, and chase the fat of the fatted calf. You better look out, madam. And he eavesdropped with pursed lips. But everything he heard about the pixie's splendor and strength, and his power over the gardener's wife, made him smile more and more. She meant poetry, you know, but he took it literally. From the title, his eyes glistened with happiness. Quite a noble expression appeared around the corner of his mouth. He lifted his heels and stood in his toes and became a whole inch taller than before. He was delighted with what was said about little Pixie. Madame has soul, and she is very cultured. Now, how I have misjudged that woman. She has put me in her rhyme. It will be printed and read. I won't let the cat drink her cream anymore. I'll do it myself. One drinks less than two, and that's a starving. I'll introduce to respect the honor, madam. He is sure like a human being, that Pixie, said the old cat. Just one sweet meow from the mistress, a meow about himself, and immediately changed his mind. He's clever, madam. But she wasn't clever. It was the Pixie who was human. If you can understand the story, ask about it. But don't ask the pixie or the man.